Welcome to episode 16 of Community Convener, the official podcast of the Henry County Chamber of Commerce. I'm your host, Joseph Henning, President and CEO for the Henry County Chamber. This podcast is all about bringing you the people, programs, and progress driving business growth and community connections right here in Henry County. Kicking things off with this packed episode, we hear from Piedmont Henry's CEO, David Kent, and Emergency Management Coordinator, Darius Williams, on our second part of the disaster preparedness in Henry County. We share can't-miss events, highlights, and news to help keep you in the know in Henry County. So grab a coffee and let's dive in. Well, hello and welcome back to this episode's Catalytic Conversation. As a reminder, the hard truth is that natural disasters can strike with little warning, disrupting operations, threatening safety, and impacting our local economy. And here's the statistic that should get everyone's attention. 25% of small businesses fail to recover after disaster. Last episode, we spoke with representatives from Henry County government on disaster preparedness. Today, we are fortunate to speak with Piedmont Henry's CEO, David Kent, and their emergency management coordinator, Darius Williams. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Darius, if you would, give us a little overview of your role. We know what the CEO, we think we know what the CEO does, but what does an emergency management coordinator do at the hospital?
So thank you for having me here. Happy to be here, speak on this behalf. So my role here is the preparedness of it. We look at all things mitigation, response, and recovery, how we would deal with and mitigate these things moving forward. So what we do, we have plans and we have what we call EOP, which is emergency operations plans. We have facility plans throughout facilities for various different departments. And what we want to do is to make sure that we have these culture and a state of preparedness for any event that could come our way. We're currently working on a mass casualty plan, which will encompass things from anything from natural disaster, man-made, or it could just be something that disrupt operations here at the hospital. So my role is to make sure that we constantly stay in a culture of preparedness and readiness to be able to deal with this. I do real-time education with staff members. We have over 2,700 contractors and employees and staff that come throughout here. So we make sure that we touch these employees and make sure that they understand what our goals are, what are their plans, what are their designated plans for the area. We understand that we have a very critical population where patients that are not as ambulatory as other patients, such as our ICU patients and our NICU patients. So we try to make sure that we're prepared and those units and those teams know that if something was to affect this hospital in any kind of way, that we will be prepared and that they're confident that they can take care of the community that we serve.
Darius, thank you. That's great. So let me throw an example at you if I could. You know, we know that the first concern is human life whenever a disaster hits, but can you pull back the curtain for us and tell us a little bit about what happened at Piedmont Henry, say last May with the EF2 tornado?
So with the EF2 tornado, what we do is we train our staff. In the policy, they have what a tornado watch is and what a tornado warning is. If we were in a tornado watch state, we're literally doing that. We're watching. We have individuals watching the news. We have operators that are listening out for weather radios, and they're actually looking out the windows to see what the weather is doing. From a standpoint of a tornado warning, the hospital, there's a lot of hospital movement. There are patients that are being brought out of rooms where windows are due to we have sustained windows and we have double pane windows. However, we want to make sure that they're safe. So our hospital is going into that plan there and they're actually making sure that everyone gets away from those windows and that they're safe. And during that particular time, we had a lot of individuals in. That happened at 3:30 in the afternoon. So we were fully staffed here at the hospital and had patient movement, buses moving, golf carts moving. So our goal was to get everybody to a safe place quickly when that warning comes out, get that communication out. And during that, we were able to make sure that we sustainability as far as our staff and our patients, make sure that they were safe. So we have plans that are in place and we mitigate those plans to make sure that, and they execute those plans. And with these tornadoes that we've had, Henry County had 4 tornadoes this year alone. And each time we were able to train in real time. And so we're actually testing those plans out on a regular basis.
Okay, yeah, thank you. David, Darius talks about the planning. How self-sufficient is the entire hospital? What does that look like for Piedmont Henry? To be able to handle disasters, maybe for 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, depending on what that disaster might be, it could be a couple days.
Yeah, good question. I think, well, to directly answer your question, Joe, We have backup generators for power. Obviously, power is critically important, as is water. And so, if a natural disaster were ever to hit here and we were to be without power, we have backup generators that can, I believe, run several days on end. I know it's at least 2 days, maybe more, to be able to handle those situations. We also work very carefully within our system. One of the beauties of being part of Piedmont Healthcare and a large system like this is we can coordinate resources from a system level if needed. And so if we were ever to lose water or potable water became a problem for us, we could have water delivered here to handle us for days on end. As a matter of fact, Joe, we dealt with this issue with Hurricane Helene last year. If you recall, the path of that storm originally was forecasted to kind of come right up through Henry
Hmm.
County. And so we were prepared with our emergency protocols that Darius talked a little bit about. In this case, it turned right before it really got to Henry and really affected our hospital down in Augusta. They lost water. The municipality lost water for some period of time, and there was a fear that they might lose water for a longer period of time. Within a matter of 12 hours, we had enough water for that hospital to maintain for days on end with backup plans, et cetera. That only happens as a result of the strength of a system and having the ability to coordinate resources centrally so that if it's one hospital or multiple hospitals. If you recall last year, the smoke plume that happened in Conyers in Rockdale County, obviously our hospital, Rockdale, we were potentially preparing to evacuate that hospital
Hmm.
based on what was happening. But it wasn't just Rockdale. It was also Walton was a concern, Athens was a concern, Newton was a concern, just because of the direction of the wind. And so for us, it's not just about what we do here locally. It's about being able to coordinate with a statewide network of hospitals to get the resources that we need. Because again, if Helene had kept its course, it might have been Fayette and Henry that had been affected, right? And so we're constantly thinking about that as a local level. As Darius said, in any a disaster, every single staff member has a job to do. Every single staff member, whether you're a nurse or in the floor or one of our environmental services or janitors, or you're in a leadership position or you're the CEO, everyone has a job to do. And we make sure we train and drill. But there are times when we have to pull in system resources and we do that.
That's amazing, and I think reassuring to the community to know that the preparation is there. How can businesses in Henry County better prepare their own teams, similar to what you're doing for emergencies, and coordinate that with you?
Yeah, I'll give that a quick shot, Darius, and then you can fill in. But from my standpoint, the first thing that every business should do is know their emergency responders. What we found, and you can imagine in a hospital like Henry, a very busy place, very busy emergency department. We have, our emergencies aren't just natural disasters. We have bomb threats. We have lockdown procedures if there's violent criminals that we're worried about entering the hospital. And so the first thing from my standpoint is know the people that would help you respond before the emergency happens. Because if you don't know them, you're not even really sure who to call. And if you do find the right person to call, they don't know you, they don't know your business, they don't know your setup, they don't know what potential impacts you could have. And so from that standpoint, we have a great working relationship with Stockbridge Police, with Henry County Sheriff's Office, with the fire department, with Homeland Security, big resource for us. And we actually do training. But at a minimum, every business ought to know who those points of contact are and at least have reached out to make a introduction. What we have found is that all of our first responders in our community are more than willing to come and do the work to understand your business, understand what your dynamics are, the likely emergencies that you might face, and a general plan of action to address. So that's step one. I think the other thing to always consider too is just business insurance. I'll tell you a quick story. This is not Piedmont, but in a prior life, I worked for a different health system that actually had an airplane hit the hospital. It was not a commercial airliner, but it was a private, small engine airplane, crashed on top of the hospital, shut the hospital down for months. And it would not have survived if it did not have business interruption insurance. We had to basically evacuate and get those patients out of the facility. And the business interruption insurance is really what helped us make it through that period of time. So talk to your insurance agent. I know it's an expense, but it's an expense that you hope you never need. But if you do need it, to your point, your first point, about 25% of businesses go out under it's unnecessary if you have the right insurance. Those are the two main points that I would say would really be important for every business to know. Darius, what would you add?
I definitely agree with David as well. So I have been nominated as to be the LEPC chair, the Local Emergency Planning Committee for Henry County. And going to the LEPC meetings, one of the things that we noticed is that some participation with the businesses were falling into challenges as they have one or two, or maybe just mostly one designated individual that worked in the capacity of the safety and preparedness section, but they have such a high turnover. And so one of the things we encourage the businesses to do were come to the LAPC meetings, understand what your community does. We have fire there, we have police there, we have the different municipalities, the surrounding counties, Bucks County, Griffin, and really showing that support and helping them understand what the county can provide to them and what should they do for the county. We talk about these businesses that are down off of Georgia 20 and 81 and these manufacturing and what do they have in their buildings and preparing and the preparation in front so that the fire and rescue and hazmat teams aren't responding to your facilities during the emergency. So we always try to encourage those businesses to come out and really understand what does emergency management do? What does the county do and how can they support you? How can they support your business? I think that's one of the biggest steps to making sure that they are prepared and understanding that they need to have a plan and test that plan before. And when you have a county like Henry County who will bring these resources to you for free, you can't beat that. They'll come to you and say, we'll help you train, we'll help you put a plan together. So just trying to get that information out so that everybody's aware, and that their businesses can sustain throughout any emergency.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Darius. I think for both of you, your comments were to be proactive. And I think that that is so key because the reactive is going to be that 25%, unfortunately. They're not going to be able to come back from it. Darius, you talked about the training available and what kind of training can businesses, employers, would they go to that LEPC or is there somewhere else that they could look for training? What would you recommend for them to be prepared for emergencies?
So Henry County partners with GEMA, which is Georgia Emergency Management Agency, and we have a FEMA component as well too. So we're very fortunate to have a Homeland Security function as well too. We bring county training here to Henry County. It sits at the 911 and Emergency Management Operations Center. We have these trainings monthly, and so a lot of trainers been looking at toward the FIFA coming up. But they're monthly trainers, and they're putting the information out each month. The goal was to get different training and different individuals come in to be able to support and help them mitigate, everything from strategies. The local emergency management team will come to you and do security assessments. CISA, our local government entity, will come into your facility and do a free security vulnerability assessment, the hazard vulnerability assessment. So there's a lot of different things that are happening, and with the trainers, it's showing them how they respond to communities with rail. We just recently did one with CSX, and they had their safety person coming out, and he actually giving full live stream of everything that was happening and showing them if we were to have a derailment in Henry County, how should we respond? What's the best way to respond? So there are a lot of preparation and mitigation that's happening, a lot of trainings, and they just need to get involved with their local CERT community as well too here in Henry County. It's just so many resources that come from the emergency management, and I assure you, if they get involved and they reach out to someone's going to get the information that they need.
Wonderful. I appreciate that. And I think you stress a great point with that. We've kind of focused and I led it with that the four tornadoes we've had. We talked about natural weather phenomenon that impact us as disasters, but this is beyond that. This is traffic accidents. And I know you guys see those on 75, but we also have with all of the tracks and that through Henry County, there's a potential for derailment in that. You've got security disasters. I mean, when Henry County doubles in size twice a year with Echo Park Speedway's races, that opens up another opportunity. And then you have cybercrime. So there's a lot that people really do need to be looking at when they look at disaster preparedness. And I love the fact that both of you stress that proactive piece. We're almost out of time. I cannot thank you both enough. David, thank you for making the time. I know that we worked hard to get this scheduled, so I appreciate it because I really did want to have Piedmont on here. But before we go, I want to give you both one chance, give you a chance. Is there anything that you want to leave, a lasting thought with anybody, the last word that you get to tell them what they need to be doing?
Yeah, what I would say is, in addition to what's already been said, would be learn from each disaster, and you don't always think about issues that you have as a disaster. But, I think about last year, we had 2 snowstorms, incredibly disruptive to businesses, incredibly disruptive to the hospital. And every time we have a snowstorm here, we learn from it. There's something that we take away. And so continue to iterate on your learning. No 2 disasters are the same, I've learned, but there are general precautions you can take across multiple types of disasters. But you have to be thoughtful and reflective about how to improve. We even made several changes after the first snowstorm last year that helped us with the second one. And so really do a postmortem. It really does work, and it will change the way you prepare for the next one. Having some discipline around that process is, I think, a very good thing. Darius?
Absolutely. Darius?
It's preparation. It's looking ahead. It's having a plan and then test that plan. Having a plan and test that plan. I can't stress that enough. And making sure that you know who your community partners are. It's not the time to be in an emergency to know who your community partners are and call them up and say, hey, I'm Joe. Like, you need to know who these individuals are. We have a great working relationship with the county. When the snowstorms hit and David spoke about, when they would hit, I'm saying, listen, we have a situation here. I need my emergency ramp iced over, iced over. When they came out, I said, well, hey, I also need hospital drive all the way up to Eves Landing. It was such a critical infrastructure that we are here that they able to come out. And, we appreciate the county so much. I mean, they bring salt trucks out down. They did everything that they could for us. And we know that they're here. We see them. David here's the meetings, and they're here and they're with their families. We see off-duty firefighters, police officers, sanitation guys. Everybody, families here, so they see the value of Piedmont Henry, and we see the value in the county. So that partnership has been key for us. But preparation, having a plan and testing it for the businesses will sustain them in the long run. Knowing exactly what your capabilities are plays a huge part.
Yeah, I can't stress that enough. I think part of that preparedness planning is not just making sure that you have your files in the cloud or in a safe deposit box somewhere, but it's also knowing who you need to know. Who do you need to call? And I'm very fortunate because I have David's cell phone, and sometimes I just test him. I just test him to see if he's going to answer it or not.
I always do for you, Joe.
You do. Well, I want to thank you both for your time and again, the expertise that you bring to this. I think that we are very fortunate in Henry County, not just to have a great, well-established emergency management service at the county, but also to have the resource that we have with Piedmont Henry and the knowledge and that you all bring to it too. And so I hope that, our listeners, whether they be businesses or even the residents of Henry County, know the assets that we have, but also heed your warning and to be prepared. It's one thing to make a plan and set it aside and not share it with your family or your employees, but you've got a plan. And so you're proud of that, but you got to share it. You got to, as you said, Darius, you got to practice it. As you said, David, you find some pieces that need to be improved from time to time and make those changes, but you got to have that communications. You got to know where you're meeting. You got to know who's responsible for what. So I appreciate you both.
Thanks, Joe. Our pleasure.
Thank you. This episode's Elite Member Highlight features Bennett International Group. Bennett's commitment to a culture of safety and emphasis on family is unparalleled. Their specialized, innovative, and integrated solutions make them a proven leader in transportation, distribution, global logistics, and supply chain industry. From their humble beginnings as a small family-owned business to their exponential growth into a family of companies, their core values have never wavered. As Atlanta's #1 woman-owned business, We Care is a model that begins with CEO Marcy Taylor and drives every employee, owner-operator, contractor, and agent within Bennett to provide outstanding customer service. We thank Bennett International Group for their elite membership. All right, and here's this episode's Henry Happenings. Last week, the community convener shared a segment discussing emergency preparedness with Henry County leadership. If you haven't listened to it, it's a good listen with Sherry Matthews and Kevin Johnson. But I've heard from a lot of our podcast listeners that they wanted more information on the Community Emergency Response Team, or CERT program. The Henry County CERT program is a nationally recognized and locally implemented initiative that trains community members like you in basic disaster response skills. Through this program, you'll learn everything from fire safety and light search and rescue to disaster medical operations and terrorism awareness. CERT members play a vital role in the crucial hours after a disaster by checking on neighbors and loved ones, by distributing important public information, through supporting emergency operations centers, and helping with traffic and crowd management. But the CERT program isn't just about responding to disasters. As a CERT volunteer, you'll also have the opportunity to get involved in non-emergency projects and events that make our community safer and more prepared. To learn more about the Henry County CERT program or to register for the next training course, please call 770-288-7500 or visit henrycountyga.gov.
Ever wonder how your business could be featured right here on the podcast? It's easier than you think. We're offering podcast sponsorships that include shout-outs like this one, a spotlight in our episode description, and the option to record your own or let us read it for you. Want even more visibility? Bundle your podcast with a feature in our Chamber e-newsletter for double your impact. Sponsorships are limited. Email Trinity at tarcher@henrycounty.com to learn more.
And now for this episode's upcoming events. The Chamber of Commerce and Snapping Shoals EMC present the 25th Annual Golf Classic today at Heron Bay Golf Club. This year's Classic is more than golf. It's a celebration of community, connection, and friendly competition. Come swing, socialize, and support the Chamber's ongoing economic impact in Henry County. If you are listening before 1 p.m., come out and enjoy trivia on the course brought to you by Da Vinci's Pizza. Coming up on Thursday, October 2nd at 8 a.m. is the next Empower Her Coffee Hour featuring Brandy Corbin-Craig. She'll be diving into the business of being a woman, strategy, success, strength. Expect bold mindset shifts, authentic networking, and the kind of energy to carry you through the month. Join us in the Chamber's Hudgens Room. Every Tuesday morning from 9 to 10:30, the Henry Business Builders Group continues its organizing meetings to become a chartered BNI chapter. This is your chance to plug into the world's largest referral networking organizations. Meetings are held in the Chamber's Business Resource Center. On Thursday, October 9th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., it's Bridge Henry County Connect. Skip the guesswork and get direct one-on-one guidance from experts in finance, marketing, legal, and AI. This all takes place in the Chamber's Business Resource Center. Then on Tuesday, October 14th at 8 a.m., our Coffee and Collaboration series continues with transformational strategist Elaine Robinson-Beatty. She'll be sharing practical strategies for building leaders who last, covering readiness, resilience, and retention. Next, one of our favorites, the annual Member Appreciation Lunch on Friday, October 31st. And yes, it's a Halloween party. Join us for food trucks, festive fun, and our always popular costume contest. It's our way of celebrating you, our members, in true Chamber style. And finally, on Saturday, November 1st from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is the second annual Henry County Health Fair at the McDonough Public Library. Enjoy free screenings, resources, flu shots, and even a blood drive, all thanks to local health partners. To register and see more Chamber and community events, visit our website at henrycounty.com/events/calendar. This episode's Connecting Point introduces you to our Entrepreneur Roundtable. On Thursday, October 9th from 9 to 10 a.m. in the Hudgens Room, we are creating a sense of community. This roundtable will bring together approximately 30 small business owners across Henry County, and both Chamber members and potential members are welcome. You're invited to share the needs and challenges facing your business, discuss how we can support one another and strengthen local entrepreneurship, and provide feedback to shape the 2026 Entrepreneur Networking Group at Henry County Chamber. Agenda highlights include a local update on economic development, tabletop discussions with fellow business leaders, and a group report out and networking. Your voice matters, and we want to hear from you. What do you need, and how can the Chamber help you? What resources or connections would make the most significant difference for your business in 2026? Please RSVP to the Chamber by October 4th to reserve your seat. Space is limited, and we want to ensure a strong, diverse mix of businesses at the table. We look forward to your participation in building a thriving Henry County small business community. Welcome to this episode's Member Minute, where we highlight exciting news, milestones, and upcoming ribbon cuttings across our Chamber community. Celebrate with us at our upcoming ribbon cuttings on October 1st at 11 a.m. for Academy Mortgage powered by Guild Mortgage, on October 2nd at 11 a.m. for the Infopreneurs LLC, on October 3rd at noon for Aligned Chiropractic and Wellness, and finally on October 14th at 4 p.m. for Levi Luxury Apartments. Benton House Senior Living has launched an enhanced dementia training program for both staff and family caregivers. The initiative combines advanced staff education with new video resources designed to help families better support their loved ones. The Henry County Water Authority is now accepting applications for the 2025 hunting season. This includes 2 youth hunts and a special veterans hunt happening this fall. Applications close soon, so if you're interested, be sure to check out details at hcwa.com. The Water Authority will also be hosting their Fall Supplier Conference on Thursday, October 2nd. The event is designed to help local businesses learn how to work with the authority and connect with staff about upcoming projects and procurement opportunities. Interested in hearing more about our members? Check out our member news section on our website. Henry County Chamber is able to bring valuable programs and events to life thanks to the support of our sponsors. Right now, there are several great opportunities for you to get involved. Our Women's Empower Her Coffee Hour series connects and uplifts women in business with bold conversations and authentic networking. The Flex program equips high school students with entrepreneurial skills through hands-on business experiences and competitions. The National Civics Bee is helping middle school students deepen their civic knowledge and leadership while spotlighting the next generation of engaged citizens. And the Henry County Health Fair is building a healthier community through free screenings, resources, and wellness education. If your business wants to make a difference while gaining visibility, we'd love to connect with you about sponsorship opportunities. Together, we can keep empowering leaders, students, and our community. If you are interested in discussing membership benefits or sponsorship opportunities, please connect with our team at 770-957-5786 or at henrycounty.com. And join us next week for more member and community news. If you have an item for us to share or highlight on Community Convener, there is a link to contact us on the podcast site of your choice. We want to hear from you. Until next time, stay connected, stay inspired, and keep growing with us at the Henry County Chamber.